A very good afternoon to all. The point of today's press briefing is that we have concluded the whole process in the state of Arunachal Pradesh, and as far as Lower Subansiri Keyi Panyor districts are concerned, the voting in all the 73 polling stations were taken, and no any incident of any violence reported anywhere, and voting concluded peacefully in all the polling stations. And the material were retrieved and stored in the strong room in the presence of the general observer and the political party agents and representatives as per the procedure which is established by the commission. And even today the scrutiny of the polling materials such as presiding officer diary, voter register, etc. were conducted by the general observer in the presence of political party representatives, the candidates' representatives. So overall, it has been a good turnout in the district, both districts, I must say, and it's been largely peaceful. No any incidents of any violence or poll vitiation-related issues were reported. If I have to tell about the voting percentage, as far as 16 actually is concerned, the poll percentage is 89.85%, and that is for both parliamentary segment as well as assembly segments. And as far as 17-0 poll is concerned, it is 60.70% is the voter turnout. Electors in Yachuli were about 17,521 total number of electors, and in Ziro it is for 25,285 electors. This time we had set up about 8 model polling stations, 4 in each segment, be it Yachuli or 16 Yachuli or 17-0 Hapoli. And we had also set up 2 women polling stations, which we call as pink booths, and 1 youth polling station. So Yakha, 20 Yakha in 16 Yachuli was the all women polling station, managed by all the lady officers, including the police personnel, lady police personnel. The poll percentage at that polling station is about 91.8%, and 24 in Ziro, 17-0 Hapoli constituency, 24 Dani Gunia GHSS was the polling station, which was the model polling station and also women polling station. The voter turnout over there was about 50.27%. And if you see, you must have seen, you must have visited some of our model polling stations. People have appreciated all the facilities that were provided. The idea behind such is that how we can improve the voters' voting experience. How can we make it more pleasurable for them? So in this regard, we had set up even the creche for the kids, wherein our Anganwadi workers were there to take care of the children of the voters who had accompanied them to cast their vote. We had a dedicated space for senior citizen for them to sit and rest while rather than standing in the queue. Most of the model polling stations, in fact, all the model polling stations were decorated, and they were neatly decked up to receive the voter, and with most of the polling stations having wanting to give a red carpet welcome to the the elector, because every vote counts, and it's the mandate of the election commission that we have to ensure free, fair and smooth elections, and also make it a good voting experience for the public. And it was also heartening to note that 28 Toon is a constituency actually where early morning there were about 20 to 25, 80 plus voters who had lined up to vote. They had not opted for any home voting. When we had inquired about them, they said, no, we will all come to the polling station to vote. So it was really nice to see such senior citizens who were 80 plus years, and they were enthusiastically came forward and participated, and they came forward to the polling station to cast their vote. So overall, it has been a good election as far as the district of Lower Subansiri and Keyi Panyor is concerned, from the point of view of law and order, which H.P will brief about what were all the arrangements that were done. We had made an elaborate plan we had worked out as far as the security deployment was concerned on the day of poll, and also for the retrieval of EVM machines, and which worked to its perfection and was very well executed by SP and his team. And hence we did not face any issue as such in retrieval of any EVMs back to the strong room. And also thanks to the weather that it held its course, so that there was not any interruptions or delays due to bad weather as such. So overall, the elections have concluded for the district here, and now it's all set for the day of counting, which is on 2nd for the assembly and 4th for parliamentary constituency.
सर ये कल एक तो कालुंग मिडिल स्कूल में एक तो 2 केसेस आया था कि जब उन्होंने वोट देने आया, उनका वोट ऑलरेडी मार के रखा हुआ था। उसके बाद उन लोग बातचीत करने के बाद ऑलमोस्ट 15-20 मिनट्स का बाद जब हम लोग भी पहुंच गए मीडिया पर्सन्स, तब उन्हें टेंडर पोल करने दिया। तो सर इसमें आप अगर एक्शन लेगा तो किसके ऊपर लेगा? वो डायरेक्ट पोलिंग स्टेशन का ऊपर लेगा कि
ये कहा जीरो की
बल्ला सर?
No, see, this is a process wherein which tender votes, इसलिए the process of tender votes is for this process only. If someone comes forward and challenges that, look, I am the voter and someone else has voted in my name or something like that, अगर ऐसा कुछ आता है तो then obviously we'll look at I think the person has been candidate has been allowed to the voter has been allowed to vote a tender vote. So the explanation will be sought from the presiding officer as to what exactly happened. So we'll have to know, we'll have to understand कि क्या है, what is their reasoning in this regard. So we will find out if the voter has given any complaint or what, and based on that we will definitely take action. Polling station के खिलाफ नहीं होता है. It is about explanation will be sought, and based on that further we will see like what has happened, if at all if tender vote was given to be cast. So we'll have to go into the details to understand what must have happened.
तो सर जब वोटिंग करता है ना, तब जो आइडेंटिफिकेशन लेके आता है उसको वहाँ पे जो ऑफिसर्स को नोट डाउन नहीं करता है, क्योंकि जब ऐसे हमने पूछा है कि कौन सा आइडेंटिफिकेशन को दिखा के उन लोग पहले बहुत मार चुका है ना, तो उनके पास कोई वो नहीं था, प्रूफ नहीं था कि उन लोग ये वाला आइडेंटिटी।
जो वोटर रजिस्टर होता है, वोटर रजिस्टर में अगर आप देखेंगे तो प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर के पास एक 17A वोटर रजिस्टर होता है। वोटर रजिस्टर में सीरियल नंबर एंड आपका ई रोल में, इलेक्टोरल रोल में उनका क्या सीरियल नंबर है वो मेंशन रहता है, एंड उनका क्या वोट करने के लिए क्या आईडी प्रूफ लाए थे, अगर एपिक नंबर है तो एपिक नंबर हो सकता है, एंड देन वोटर का सिग्नेचर भी रहता है। सो ऑल दिस थिंग्स वुड बी देयर। सो वी विल आस्क, वी विल फाइंड आउट। इट्स नॉट दैट इट्स डिफिकल्ट टू फाइंड दैट आउट। वी विल फाइंड आउट व्हाट इट इज।
सर और इसी को लेकर और एक सवाल है, जब हम कल वहाँ पे गए तो वहाँ के जो लोकल जेपीएम थे वो आके पोलिंग स्टेशन के अंदर घुस के दरवाजा बंद करके मीटिंग कर रहे थे। वो लीगल है कि लीगल नहीं है सर? ये उसको सॉर्ट आउट करने के लिए वो वोटर्स को लेके अंदर गए, उसके बाद वो पोलिंग बूथ पे गए, उसके बाद उन्होंने दरवाजा लॉक कर दिया, तो हमने बोला कि ये तो लीगल नहीं होना चाहिए। उसके बाद
there are a set of authorized people who can enter the polling station, including the RO, ARO, the administration officers, the contesting candidate, and the political party agents. So, if for you it could be, for what you are saying, it could be ZPM. We don't know whether it was ZPM or also assistant or alternate polling agent or what. I have to see. Because they must have gone in there in that ID also. They might be the ZPM, all right. I mean, I will have to verify the facts, what you're saying. I have to, BLO is there, the presiding officer has to take a call. He is the, the person who decides everything. The presiding officer is the master of the day as far as the elections are concerned at a particular polling station. It is not even the RO, returning officer. On the day of polling, where the polling, किसी का voter identity करना है नहीं है, decision lies with that of the presiding officer. And there are elaborate set of procedures that have laid out as to who can enter and who cannot, apart from the voter. So आप जो बोल रहे हैं, आपके हिसाब से अगर आप बोल रहे हैं कि ZPM है, उन्होंने वो वोटर करने के लिए, I mean, I don't know. I have to see whether are they also one of the election agent. Could it be? I will have to see. If so, then they are legally right. They have the right to enter inside. And if you're saying that the door was closed for some time, if sometimes certain issues come up, if the presiding officer feels that nahi kuch ho sakta hai law and order and all, so he can halt for some time, understand, and then continue the court process later. So there is no any harm in that. But we'll have to verify as to, it could also be the case that when the person whom you're saying who entered as a ZPM could also be an election agent with the tag. Without that, the presiding officer would not let anyone inside.
हम देखा गया था कि वहाँ पे लिखा गया है पोलिंग स्टेशन में कि यू आर अंडर सर्वेलेंस सीसीटीवी कैमरा। हमने जानबूझ के वहाँ में नहीं था सर एक भी।
No, see, CCTV camera surveillance are normally for critical polling stations. Critical polling stations zero में नहीं है. Zero में एक भी critical polling stations नहीं है. All which are there are in usually 25. So there was no CCTV surveillance as far as zero polling stations are concerned. So the requirement or the mandate is that the CCTVs are to be put or webcasting has to be done for the critical polling stations, and that too how many you have to decide out of 100% critical polling station आपको cover करना है या कितना percentage आप cover करना चाहते हैं, depending on the network availability and then the bandwidth and then the connectivity issues and all those things. So there are no any critical polling stations which are there in Ziro. So there was not any webcasting of CCTV. It could be because of the building that the election was conducted. It's a school building perhaps. That must be the sign that you must be referring to.
तो सर इस केस को लेकर आप लोग इंक्वायरी तो करेगा होगा अंदर से?
No, if it comes up in that regard, see, we will certainly look into it. Why not? Inquiry तो अगर कुछ आएगा रिटर्न में तो definitely we will look into it.
सर पीठापुल का जो पुलिस स्टेशन है उनका डिले होने का रीजन क्या था सर?
पीठापुल का डिले देखिए, there were, you can say, sort of multiple issues here all came together. One is, there was a slight delay in the beginning in start of mock poll. Then after that, soon after the mock poll was completed, mock poll का खत्म होने के बाद जो actual poll start करने वाले थे, तो one of the, because the clearing of mock poll was not done properly by the presiding officer at his team, the poll could not be started. The regular poll could not be started for assembly constituency. So immediately we rushed a technician, and this issue was sorted out in about 25 minutes to half an hour, and poll resumed. अब polling process start होने के बाद the voting was generally slow because Pitapul, it was there in most of the places. In most of the places this was the case, but in case of Pitapul, it so happened that the voters are high. 919 electors are there in Pitapul part. So every voter and particularly every non-tribal voter's identity, and there you have a significant migrant population also. So every voter's identity was being checked by almost all. You have about 7 to 8 polling agents were also sitting inside because it's a simultaneous election. So both of parliamentary constituency and assembly constituency, all polling agents were also sitting inside. So they were wanting to verify each and every voter's credentials. So they were saying that no, this objection can be as simple as no, the face is not matching on the epic. Once an objection comes, the presiding officer cannot ignore that objection. He will have to look into the objection. He has to decide, and then based on that, the other way of verifying is epic जो number रहता है, जो ECI का website में check करेंगे, तो then at least there is further credibility. So imagine for each and every voter, this almost it was being done. So because of this, and there were certain issues like a voter is registered here, he or she is also registered somewhere else. So the presiding officer has no basis to identify. उनका बस यही काम रहता, मतलब main work would be any voter walks in, he or she should walk in with a valid ID proof, even if not epic. Epic is not mandatory to carry to vote, but any of the listed government ID proofs. As per the commission has listed which are all the ID proofs that you can carry. Any one of those you have to carry, and your name should be there in the electoral roll. अगर नहीं है तो एक ASD list होता है, उसमें someone can come and say कि look, my roll is not there, but you verify the ASD list. So this is what the presiding officer will see, and he has to allow the voter to vote. If there is an objection over there, then he will have to deal with that objection. Now, if objection comes for almost every voter, then the voting gradually gets delayed, right? When you have those many voters. So it so happened that at about 5 p.m., which is a closing time for poll, only 260 votes were cast. So because of which the large number of voters were there in the queue, more than 550, in fact 565 to be precise. So procedure ये कहता है कि 5 PM जो close of poll का है टाइम, उस टाइम तक क्लोजिंग होने के आसपास, मतलब क्लोजिंग होने के जस्ट पहले जो भी कंपाउंड के अंदर रहता है, पोलिंग स्टेशन के प्रीमाइसेस के कंपाउंड के अंदर रहता है, दैट पर्सन शुड बी अलाउड टू वोट, शुड बी गिवन देयर राइट टू एक्सरसाइज देयर फ्रेंचाइज. So after 5 PM now, and the other procedure is, the further procedure states that you have to start issuing the token right from the person standing last in the queue. जो मतलब बिल्कुल कंपाउंड के अभी एंटर होके रुका है 5 बजे में, लास्ट पर्सन हु हैड एंटर्ड द प्रीमाइसेस, उनसे टोकन इश्यू करना शुरू करना होता है, टोकन नंबर 1, 2, 3, 4 लाइक दैट. So about 565 tokens was distributed by the presiding officer and his team to all those people. So there obviously वो टोकन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में टाइम लगेगा. एक तो टोकन नंबर कितना है काउंट कराना, एंड देन मतलब करना टोकन, एंड देन अगेन पोल रिज्यूम. देयर वर नो एनी इश्यूज ऑफ एनी ईवीएम. There was actually no issues of EVM right from the beginning. It was just that the CRC closing was not done, clearing was not done soon after mock poll and before commencement of poll. That was the only issue. कोई replacement नहीं हुआ EVM का entire poll process पे. There was no any replacement as such, as far as in Pita poll is concerned. So 565 votes, again the same process of challenging the identity, like objection. It's not, I'm not saying what is right or wrong, but then this is the delay is what I am saying. That once a voter walks in, so some of the, and they have the right to contest, we want to, this voter's credentials to be established. Fair enough, but then if you ask for each and every voter, so it is naturally bound to be delayed. And I would say the presiding officer has rightfully dealt with all these objections. Or else, had these objections been, not dealt properly, or had been, let's say, not satisfactory, it could have given rise to some kind of unrest outside. The fact that every objection was carefully looked into and to the satisfaction of all the polling party agents and even that of the voter, and as per rules, whether he or she is allowed to vote or not, was decided by the presiding officer. And this, because this procedure took a lengthy time, the poll continued till after midnight. That was the main reason for delay, not because of any EVM or replacement or anything. EVM was perfectly fine.
जी सर, हमने कल पूरा एटलीस्ट 17 अपने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में जो जितना भी मॉडल पोलिंग स्टेशन खोल के रखा गया है, जिस हमने सब में विजिट किया. खास करके जो हिलतोप स्कूल है उसको यूथ करके डिक्लेयर किया गया था सर, मैं सुनने में आया है, बट उसमें ऐसे कुछ खास देखने को नहीं मिला. बाकी में जितना भी गया उधर पे तो सब फैसिलिटीज था, चल भी रहा था. बट हमने जब हिलतोप गया तो उधर में ऐसे कुछ डेकोरेशन वगैरह भी कुछ भी देखने को नहीं मिला. ये सर कैसे हुआ?
नहीं, ऐसे देखिए, मॉडल पोलिंग स्टेशंस के साथ साथ यूथ एंड पोलिंग स्टेशंस मैनेज बाय PWD स्टाफ, पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटीज, and women polling stations. So these are all different categories. Model polling stations, maybe either of them or maybe none of them. But a model, how a model polling station can be, like how can it be welcoming at all? So youth polling station का वो इसलिए वो एक ये था कि the staff over there would be of a certain age group. Of course, there is no fixated number as to what is defined as youth. But of all the presiding officers' team, if you see presiding and the polling team officials, if you see, they were the youngest. So it is one of the category of polling station, like managed by youth, managed by women, and then you have model polling stations. So it could have been that that could have been one of डेकोरेशन वहाँ पे नहीं किया, बस 8 जगह करा था, वहाँ पे 4 यहाँ पे 4 करा था. देखते हैं अगले आने वाले इलेक्शंस में we will increase and more and more polling stations could be decorated.
Very good afternoon. First of all, congratulations to all the voters of 16 Yachuli and 17 Apali for a successful and a very peaceful election out here. We had a very peaceful election in all the 73 locations, polling stations, and very smooth retrieval of the polling materials also. All the polling stations were retrieved under police protection. And today, strong room has been sealed, scrutiny has been done, and the security of the strong room has been handed over to the CAPF. As per the guidelines of ECI, strong room has to be guarded by the CAPF, Central Police Paramilitary Forces. One company of CAPF is dedicated, deployed for the strong room, and the outer periphery, state armed police is there. So these things will be continuing till the counting that it is 2nd and 4th of June. And apart from that, I will be having one platoon of another law and order duty force for any exigency and all. Thank you.
सर एक क्वेश्चन था, आपने एक पुलिस की तरफ से एक हेल्पलाइन नंबर दिया गया था, तो उसी के थ्रू जो जितना भी मनी कल्चर हो रहा है या कंप्लेंट उन लोग का एक कंप्लेंट आने के लिए आपने एक नंबर दिया, तो उसका कुछ अपडेट था क्या यहाँ पे लोअर सुबनसिरी और 16 एचडी पे या 17 पे ऐसे कुछ कंप्लेंट्स मिला सर?
मेरे पास में वो नंबर मेरा ही है, मेरा पर्सनल नंबर ही था। तो 16 एक्चुअली से एक भी कॉल नहीं मिला। जीरो पुलिस से पोल का एक दिन पहले मिला था, तो उसको हम लोग ने मेरे इमीडिएटली मिलते ही मेरी ओसी की जितने टीम है वो रिस्पॉन्ड करके गया था, लेकिन ऐसा कुछ वहाँ नहीं मिला। तो जहाँ वहाँ कुछ गैदरिंग था, डेफिनेटली लंच अरेंज किया गया था, तो डेफिनेटली सबका हम लोग इंक्वायरी किया। हम जितने भी लोग वहाँ पे थे, शेरी जो लंच खाने जो आया था, जिसने अरेंज किया, सभी से पूछा गया था, तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं आया। एंड वी हैव केप्ट सम लोकल सोर्सेस ऑल्सो, तो एंगेज करके आया था कि लोकल सोर्सेस भी करके, लेकिन ऐसे कोई इंक्रीमेंटिंग कुछ समथिंग हम लोग मिला नहीं था। एक ही कॉल आया था, दैट वाज आल्सो ऑन 18, सेकेंड हाफ ऑफ 18।